There is just a hole in Breath of the Wild. Like, a hole. So this is probably the easiest out of bounds glitch I can think of, because all you have to do is find it. Breath of the Wild is a very massive game, so there's bound to be some buggy collision and walls here and there scattered throughout the world. But this is just a gap that allows you to fall right on out of bounds. It's just really weird to me, so let's go find it. It's located in the Gerudo Highlands off the side of a cliff. I'm going to show you the exact spot you need to go and slap a pin on it. It's even kind of marked on the map itself with this tiny gray blob. The closest shrine I have to it is the Kataker Shrine. Definitely said that correctly, but you might have one closer, I'm not really sure. I'd recommend just climbing to the top of the cliff and gliding down to the location. You should see it pretty clearly once you get close. Well, here it is. Just a chunk of land missing from this corner on the side of the cliff, and we can climb inside. I can't really explain it, but it's just really weird that this hole exists. Even though this game has such a massive world, it's strange that this slipped through the eyes of all the developers and playtesters. My guess is this section was worked on real late at night, and the person at Nintendo was half asleep and just wanted to get through it. Or there was supposed to be some kind of rock pile placed here that was forgotten about. Whatever the case, it exists, so we have to explore it. You can either cling onto the wall behind the hole and crawl your way down, or just eat yourself down that bad boy and pull out your glider. And that's all there is to it to get out of bounds in Breath of the Wild. Simply fall through a hole that's already just sitting there in the world. The first thing I did, and probably one of the most interesting things you can do down here, is climbing on invisible walls. The walls that are supposed to block you from entering on the outside are still climbable from the opposite side. And since they're invisible, it looks super trippy. Like you're climbing all over this tiny version of Hyrule. Look at the volcano in the background. It looks like there's a giant Link scaling up it right now. But yeah, I just hung out here for a couple of minutes, taking in the view and such. On the ground now, even though these are invisible walls, they still behave like walls. So even though it looks like you can just walk right through them, you cannot. You'll just hop up and start climbing on thin air if you get close. There's also this weird corner on the far end of the entrance that Link just skips up if you're running. He makes a bunch of noises and performs like 5 hoppy hops. What's weird is what's allowed to go through the walls. Link obviously cannot, as well as bombs, but arrows? Sure, why not? So, if you needed to attack something from inside here, you can, but don't expect to collect anything, as the walls prevent it. See, even here with this rushroom that's just sticking out of the side of the cliff. Even though it's practically clipping through Link's head, the game completely ignores it and never allows us to collect it. As for other areas of interest, the terrain in general is pretty buggy. The textures for the mountain and snow kind of just tear down along the sides here, and there's a lot of random bumps and hills. The most surprising thing to me is simply the fact that there's this much collision down here. And it's all accurate. In most out-of-bounds sections, the collision might not match up with what you're seeing, but it's just as accurate as the rest of the game. It makes me think that this might have been an intended area in the game and was scrapped later, or they just decided to fatten out the mountain and add some more cliffs hanging off the side. Enemies can even spawn inside here at night, which just adds to the weirdness. I'm pretty sure that also means they can be in here when you're not. So if you've ever heard random mob noises and can't figure out where they're coming from, this may be the answer. That's pretty much everything this pit has to offer though. Getting back out through the hole is possible if you're committed. Yeah, you can teleport out or just reload a save right before you fell down, but where's the fun in that? It can be kind of difficult to pull off as you need a lot of energy and have to simply find the hole again because the ceiling above you is invisible. But if you're slick, you can take breaks on random ledges that aren't steep enough to kick you off and regain your energy to keep going. I'd recommend using your map to find the right point to exit, as you're kind of climbing blind until you're physically out of the hole. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the hole that just exists in Breath of the Wild. I've known about this one for a while and even tucked it into an episode of Game Breakers, but I think it deserves its own spotlight. It's so strange and pretty much the easiest out-of-bounds glitch you can do. The only challenge is simply getting to the cliff. Have fun exploring this one if you check it out. But for now, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, see ya!